Iron Maiden fans divided, the Ballad of Judas Priest is here, and our journey may go back to the beginning with our brand new chapter. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. The Ballad of Judas Priest. Judas Priest's official documentary, The Ballad of Judas Priest, has now finally premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival, better known as Berlinale. And yeah, it is a big deal.
Show me to me, please.
Now, first of all, the coolest part about it is that it wasn't a quiet drop. One of the most prestigious film festivals in the world gave Judas Priest and heavy metal a global premiere platform. And this is exactly what we need to ensure that our favorite genre continues spreading around the world and becomes more and more appealing to new generations of metalheads. At the Berlinale press conference, Morello spoke about Priest's cultural importance, highlighting how their audience today represents diversity and unity across generations and backgrounds. So exactly what I just said. And Rob Halford also addressed the political and personal layers of Priest's music, referencing how songs like Raw Deal carried meaning long before he publicly came out, and how even recent albums like Invincible Shield still reflect what's happening in the world today. Once again, sending his big regards to everyone who keeps shouting at every corner that politics should stay out of metal. As sorry to break it to you guys, but no, since its very beginning, metal has been political. I mean, it's literally in its essence, and it is exactly the beauty of our favorite genre. But talking about the documentary itself, the film dives deep into the historical context behind each of the classics Judas Priest wrote throughout the years, including, for example, Breaking the Law, framing it as a working-class protest anthem born out of frustration in late 70s Britain. And overall, it's supposed to be not really a nostalgia piece, but rather a film which is supposed to help people understand the cultural significance of heavy metal and Judas Priest specifically. And according to all of you metal pilgrims who actually attended that premiere, it looks like it actually rocks. And I cannot wait to see it for myself. Here guys, super quick, just have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. The Ozzy Osbourne story.
I feel you crumbling, my arms down to your heart of stone.
And continuing the theme of metal films, Jack Osbourne, the son of the legendary Ozzy Osbourne, has finally revealed some details about the long-awaited Ozzy Osbourne biopic. As Jack said in the Billy Corgan's The Magnificent Others podcast, he is one of the producers of that movie, acting as somewhat of a middleman between Sharon Osbourne and the rest of the producers. And by the way, the team apparently has still not settled on the cast for that film, and all because they decided to rewrite the screenplay completely halfway down the road. Initially, the movie was supposed to cover the life of Ozzy from his youth to mid-90s, but in the end of the day, the team had decided to shrink it down and instead focus on the tale of the end of Black Sabbath and the rise of Ozzy Osbourne as the Prince of Darkness and a solo artist. And you know what? I actually think it's kind of cool, because the more condensed this biopic is going to be, the better it is, at least for me. And now we can also start speculating about how exactly the Ozzy Osbourne estate will portray the split between Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And what is even more fun and more important, how they will show the dynamics between Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads, and the rest of the guys who made him the musician we all love him for. And here guys, a huge shout out to all my patrons and all of the YouTube channel members. Guys, it is thanks to you and thanks to everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch that I'm able to release these videos amidst all the craziness that is going on right here in Ukraine. Guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And by the way, there is actually a special video on a very special album by Blaze Bayley available to all of the patrons and YouTube channel members. So if you're one of those, definitely do not miss it. The Bittersweet at the Gates. Swedish melodic death metal godfathers At the Gates have just shared information about what may be the most bittersweet metal album of 2026. The band's next studio record, the posthumous release of their legendary frontman Thomas Lindberg. First, the social media accounts of At the Gates posted something rather mysterious, an image with a short video clip and the caption, "The ghost of a future dad coming soon," which most At the Gates fans quickly speculated would be the title of the band's upcoming studio release, the one that they've been teasing for quite a while now. And just a day after that, we got the first taste of what is to come. And this album right away became one of the most anticipated and one of the most bittersweet releases of this year. As just a reminder, Thomas Lindberg passed away on September 16th, 2025 after losing the battle with cancer. Yet before passing away, he was able to record the vocal parts for the next At the Gates album, the one that we will be able to hear in April of this year, and the one that I personally really hope, despite my love for At the Gates, will be the band's last record ever. Because, if you ask me, this would actually be the best possible way to honor Tompa's legacy and end the chapter of this legendary band. Final Van Halen album. Alex Van Halen has officially confirmed that he is currently working on one more Van Halen album, and it will feature previously unreleased material by nobody else but Eddie Van Halen. In a recent interview with Brazilian podcast Casagastao, Alex said that there is a lot of stuff they recorded together with Ed, which other people did ask him to release for some time he did not want to do in its embryonic form. Yet recently Alex did partner with nobody else but Steve Lukather, a longtime friend of Eddie, who according to Alex can do those parts justice, and recorded at a quality and level expected from a Van Halen album. And even more, according to Alex, all of the instrumental parts for this upcoming album are actually already recorded, with the bass parts being played by nobody else but Wolfgang Van Halen. And the only thing they're currently missing is the vocal parts, which at first, being huge Free fans, they wanted nobody else but Paul Rodgers to do, yet given the fact Paul cannot really do it anymore, they're still in a semi-active search for a proper voice for those records. And, well, I think there are at least a couple of people on this planet whom I know for sure would work great with the Van Halen instrumental parts. Don't you think so?
Who's that Pokemon?
But nevertheless, yes, a new Van Halen album is yet to come. And although it will never be the same without Eddie Van Halen, given the fact that he actually wrote those parts, I personally cannot wait to hear that one. Operation Mindcrime III. Geoff Tate has confirmed that Operation Mindcrime III is almost ready. According to guitarist Kieran Robertson, the album is currently in the final mixing stage, with Tate and producer John Moyer putting the finishing touches on it. And musically, they do aim to reconnect with the original 1988 Operation Mindcrime, but with a modern, heavier production and a much bigger sound.
Bigger. Geoff. Bigger. Geoff. Bigger! Geoff!
Story-wise, this time the perspective shifts. Instead of following Nicky, the narrative is told from Dr. X's point of view, giving the saga a darker and more aggressive angle, with around 10 tracks being in consideration, and Tate previously hinting that the songs may be released individually before being compiled into a full album. So yes, the Mindcrime trilogy is finally coming to an end. And to be honest with you, I have extremely bittersweet feelings regarding this.
Yeah, I don't know.
First of all, yeah, I abso-freaking-lutely love the original Operation Mindcrime. I actually believe that it is one of the best concept albums ever released in metal. And for the record, I already thought that the second part was, well, simply unnecessary. But if the third part is coming, I actually would love it to come from Geoff Tate and Quinn Strike, as in my opinion it is the synergy of all the different elements that made that record so special in the first place. But nevertheless, I guess we will find out how Geoff Tate envisions the end of Operation Mindcrime very and very soon. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 latest metal releases from this week, which although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention. Bay Area thrash metal legends Exodus released the single Goliath, delivering another heavy, riff-driven statement from one of the genre's defining acts and continuing the band's long-standing aggressive tradition. And by the way, Gary Holt will actually be our next guest on the show, so definitely don't miss an interview with him. Supergroup Sun Don't Shine released the single Power to Live, marking the new material from the project formed by members of Alice in Chains and Monster Magnet, blending grunge weight with classic heavy rock atmosphere. American metalcore pioneers Poison the Well released the single Everything Hurts, returning with emotionally charged heaviness that reflects the band's long-standing influence on the early 2000s metalcore scene. Austrian black and death metal band Belphegor released the single Scarlet Beast Leviathan, continuing their dark, blasphemous and extreme sonic direction that has defined the band for decades. Symphonic metal project Eye of Melian released the album Forest of Forgotten, presenting a cinematic and atmospheric collection that expands the project's epic and melodic soundscape. And once again, the interview with Eye of Melian will actually be available for you next week as well. Oops, they did it again.
Just like a thousand nights before.
Scorpions are making history once again, as this week they announced yet another residency in Las Vegas. As announced during this residency, titled Coming Home to Las Vegas, Scorpions will play 8 shows in Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino from September 17th to October 3rd, and will feature Anaheim-based hard rockers Buck Cherry as special guests. And according to Scorpions frontman Klaus Meine, the energy at their previous residency was so insane that they simply could not resist in returning to Las Vegas once again. And you know what? I absolutely love it, as somehow at the 60th year of their existence, Scorpions, for some reason, are actually bigger than ever, as this residency will be the 4th return of Scorpions to the legendary venue after 3 sold-out runs in 2022, 2024 and 2025, which, if you think about it, is simply an insane recognition for a hard rock band. Iron Maiden dividing fans. Iron Maiden have officially announced what was long speculated: a full-scale Eddfest, a brand new festival-style event built around the band's 50th anniversary celebrations, and as expected, the reaction of fans has been, well, rather mixed.
Oh, excuse me?
Well, first, the basics. In case you guys lived on the rock and did not watch my previous episode this week, Iron Maiden are expanding the 2026 Run for Your Life celebrations into a full-scale experience that goes beyond just a concert. Eddfest is positioned as a multi-layered event featuring the band's performance, additional acts, themed entertainment zones, an Infinite Dreams museum-style exhibition, exclusive merch, Boar's fan experiences, and gazillion other immersive attractions for all of the die-hard Iron Maiden fans. And in other, more simple words, turning the previously announced Nebworth gig into a full-scale Iron Maiden festival. But as expected, and as it usually happens with such announcements, the fanbase was actually rather split about it. Some longtime fans have voiced concerns that Eddfest feels like a commercial expansion rather than a pure concert experience, suggesting that it may have been a result of low ticket sales for the Napworth gig itself, and complaining that it may actually be a bit less accessible for real diehard fans.
Welcome!
Others have questioned the attractions themselves. Museum experiences, themed bars, funfair style elements, and the whole fact that whether they even want them at an Iron Maiden gig, with some arguing that they would rather just see the band perform a longer set instead of turning the event into an experience economy product. And others, well, they just simply complained about it. But at the same time, the vast majority of the Iron Maiden community is excited about Eddfest, including myself. And yes, Iron Maiden could have potentially announced a separate setlist specific to the Napworth gig. And yes, we could find gazillion other reasons why not to enjoy the Eddfest. But at the same time, I personally see it as a huge Iron Maiden party, which will culminate in an incredible Run for Your Life show. A party which is a great opportunity for all of us Iron Maiden fans from around the globe gather together and celebrate the legacy of one of the greatest heavy metal bands on the planet. And I don't know about you, but I actually don't mind not having major bands going on stage together with Iron Maiden. And the support acts which have already been announced are actually more than enough for me personally, as I know for a fact that no matter what, all eyes will be on Maiden themselves.
This is the budget we got for Iron Maiden now.
But what about you? What do you guys personally think about the complaints Iron Maiden fans voiced regarding Eddfest? And do you share those or not? Please let us know in the comments. I'm actually really curious to find out. Vicious politics. US power metal veterans Vicious Rumours have officially parted ways with their longtime drummer Larry Howe. According to the social media statement, after 41 years, Howe was officially fired from Vicious Rumours because of the irreconcilable differences over Larry's political views. And as Vicious Rumours stated, they can no longer tolerate being punished by the association for Howe's personal views that in no way reflect the other band members' opinion. And because of which, some of previous Vicious Rumours concerts have actually been cancelled. But the craziest thing is that despite all that, Larry will still perform with the band on the upcoming US tour from February 25th to March 28th. And only after that, the new touring drummer will be announced. Which makes me think, boy, those concerts will be awkward.
Amusement Park.
Arch Enemy's new chapter. It's official! Arch Enemy have announced former Once Human vocalist Lauren Hart as their new singer, and they even already dropped a first single with her, titled To the Last Breath. The track marks the beginning of what Michael Amott calls a new exciting chapter for the band, making it clear that musically this song aligns strongly with his original vision for Arch Enemy, and of course also praising Lauren's vocals, dedication and professionalism, calling the collaboration an important step forward for the band.
Eyes of charm, forced and frost, with every word, truth gone lost.
And now, pretty much simultaneously with this release, Arch Enemy also announced an intimate 2026 European club tour titled Back to the Roots of All Evil, which is clearly positioned as a back to basics reset moment following all the lineup changes. And here's the thing, after hearing this brand new song by Arch Enemy, I have to point out that this is actually exactly what it sounds like. A clear back to the beginning moment for Arch Enemy. Because I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved this first single of the new Arch Enemy era. As to me, it has this very old school and aggressive Arch Enemy sound and feel, the one that I actually love this band for, yet at the same time does sound modern and fresh, unbelievably 2026 like. So yeah, it does feel like back to basics. And I don't know about you, but I simply cannot wait to hear what comes next for this band. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, subscribe to this channel, and spread the word about it, of course, and join our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Facebook, Discord, and anywhere else you can post content these days. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!